Hey everybody, you're the Dragon here. So, my birthday is coming up, and I was very fortunate that I was gifted a new knife. So, it's from DLT Trading, and this is it. Bark River Kephart 3V steel. So, just kind of open up, show you what I have, and then after that we'll kind of get into more detail. Along with it, I did purchase the handy Scandi dangler adapter that's originally made by Sharpshooter Sheaths, I believe. I did switch. By default, it comes with a sheath without a fire steel loop. I asked them to switch it to the Gameskeeper with a fire steel loop, which they did for me. Just because of a knife this size, I will carry it on my hip, but I don't want it to stick up. So, go into a little more detail on that. And here's the knife. I will tell you just from picking it up that it seems relatively light. We'll provide actual weights and everything like that in the description. Let's see what we got here. Okay. I went with a desert ironwood handle. It's my preferred handle, even on users, because the warranty on Bark Rivers is so solid that if this breaks for anything other than personal abuse, I know it should last me a lifetime, and they'll cover it if it just breaks from any other particular reason. Here you go. I'll tell you that right now. It feels really comfortable in the hand. I do like the look. It's thin. Once again, I'll kind of talk about that more in the future video, but let's give a little close-up of it. And in just a second, we'll be right back and we'll see what we got. Okay, so really quickly before we get started with the rest of the video, I've seen some complaints on forums and on other boards that the spine of the knife isn't always very sharp and can strike a ferro rod. And this is one of the toughest ferro rods I have to get good sparks off of. I mean, it does okay, but I've had other people who've said that the ferro rod itself is really hard, so it has some difficulty. So I figured I'd give a quick test and let you guys see. As you guys can see, this thing is definitely got a good sharp spine, throws sparks really well, so I don't think I'm going to have any problems with that in the woods. And yeah, it doesn't, seems to work very well. So anyways, we'll get into more tests and kind of give you more thoughts on the knife. Okay, and we're back. So, as I said, 3V steel, Kephart blade style. Blade length is, looks like 4 1/4 inches, just shy of that on the cutting edge. And then the back is about 4 1/2 inches. And as far as thickness, caliber, find out. At its thickest point, it is 0.925 at the tip. It's about 0.55 right before it tapers down. It's about 0.8. So it's a very thin blade. To kind of put that into some perspective, compare it with a more modestly priced knife, the more companion MG, which is 0.105, and this is 0.093. Yes. So, as far as lengths, this would be very much on par and handle width. I mean, you can see it's just got a little more tip, but the handle's about the same size. But this is definitely a thin stock, but being 3V steel, it should be more than strong enough. Talk a little bit about the sheath. Comes with, I believe, a Gameskeeper sheath. Usually it comes with one without the fire steel loop. I asked the people at DLT Trading if they would exchange it for one with a fire steel loop. They said, yeah, just note it in the comments, which I did, and they sent me out one with that. And then I got the Scandi dangler separate. As far as the sheath goes, it sockets in fine. No rattle. It's not coming out. It's very sturdy. That being said, I'm not sure how sold I am on the sheath. By default, it goes all the way through, but it has this little cutout so you can carry it vertically or you can run it across, which puts it at kind of an angle, sort of a cross draw style. A knife that's anything over 4 inches I like to carry more on my hip, not scout style. And so if you'll notice though, when I hang the sheath, it kind of kicks off, and it's because of the sheath style. That being said, I may switch to either a sheath, the bushcraft sheath made by the same people, Sharpshooter Sheaths, or whoever makes them for Bark River now, or I might get a custom-made sheath from Scholar Storm at Patriot Leatherworks. As far as the style of knife, the Kephart, I've been interested in this blade shape and this blade style for a while. Originally, I got this, which is the Ontario Blackbird SK5. It comes with this sheath. I had Patriot Leatherworks make this sheath for me, and on the outings I have used it on, it's been very good. It's quite solid, and it's done an excellent job. So I really kind of appreciated the geometry of the blade and just the simplicity of it, but I want it in a little bit more of an elegant style and a little bit truer to what Horace Kephart talked about in his book. And so this falls well in line with what he described in his book. And so I was earlier debating on whether to go with this or going with the Lieutenant Wright Genesis, and I ended up going with this one because of its lighter weight. So to kind of give you an understanding of how much this weighs, this scale right here. Let's see, make sure it pops on. Okay. Let's see. Currently it's coming in at 4.5. Before I put on the lanyard, it was 4.3. So it's very lightweight, which means it's very nimble and capable to doing a lot. Now, I've already done some stuff with this. I was living off some of the kind of lower branches on a tree, and it did amazingly at that. I haven't done anything other than just do some light stropping and washed off the blade to get all the little sap off, and it is, like every Bark River knife, extremely sharp. I like the attention to detail that Bark River does. Each knife is pretty much in its own right almost a custom. That being said, looking at the fit and finish, the grind is off, but it's of such a minor level that it makes zero importance. If it was thicker stock, you wouldn't even notice it at all. And that's very nitpicking on my end. I mean, this knife is amazing. It has a comfortable grip. I got a full hand grip on it, and I haven't quite found a grip that hasn't been comfortable. I haven't had any hot spots. Now, I do know that the Genesis has a little bit thicker handles, which might be more comfortable for some, but this is more than enough for me. They also go with a full 1/8 inch blade stock. Now, as I said, this is going to be for primarily just basic camp stuff. I don't expect to be chopping anything with this. If so, then I'll have either an axe, or if in most cases I'll have a saw. But just to kind of show what it's capable of, got a little wood here. Knock that down. I mean, this thing does really thin feathers. I mean, they just kind of, I mean, you can just kind of compress them down to dust. So it does really good feathering. And then, let's see here if I have something to put down so I don't make a bunch of racket. Let's see how well it can do a little bit of batoning. Don't want to make a huge mess, although I'm pretty sure it will anyways. And move stuff out of the way so it doesn't make a ton of rattling or noise. And still probably make a little bit of noise, but so be it. Sorry for my being a little bit out of sorts, but it is what it is. So there, it batons well. And this is just, I think, this is just some junk what I had lying around the house. Earlier I was doing some batoning as well, and I kind of just batoned through this, and you can see it went through several knots and had zero issues with it whatsoever. I mean, just, it works really well. I honestly, I have good hope for this knife. As I said, as far as feather sticking goes, I mean, it can do them thin, or if you need to, you get a good bite out of the wood. So I mean, you can take chunks of wood out. So I think this will be more than capable on the trail for any basic needs that you need. I wouldn't be prying with it due to the thinness of the blade stock, but for any other camp task, this should be more than enough. I use this to prepare dinner tonight, and it slices things razor thin. Just for the heck of it, I kind of want to see how thin I can slice a grape, and it was so thin that when it cut on, I actually thought I missed it because you couldn't even see the grape on there. It was that thin. And then as far as its sharpness, I mean, and this is going to be, it's such a good slicer, and that's due in large part to the thinness of the knife. And so, as I said, I think this held really well in line with what Horace Kephart designed, and he discusses in his book, I believe it's Camping and Woodcraft. And it actually almost hits everything on the nose, including the weight. The weight that he describes is about 4 ounces, which this falls within that range. I've seen some people that have purchased this knife that said that they got theirs at like 3.9 ounces, and they had a different wood. I went with desert ironwood because, as much as it's probably not local to Michigan, where this knife is produced, it's local to my region in the American Southwest. Now, with just that's been done, I mean, it's still, it's still just razor sharp, and I mean, I don't expect it to dull out unless taking some serious heavy use. I mean, I did go through some cardboard boxes. As I said, I prepared dinner, and I batoned through some wood, and I limbed some trees. And other than wiping it down and then running it like for not even 2 minutes on a strop, this thing is still, I mean, it didn't even need to be stropped. I did it more for my personal sort of obsession. And I mean, it'll still, I mean, it glides and just takes hair off like there's not even trying. So the price of this is a little over $200. I believe this one was $239, and it is, I mean, there are cheaper knives on the market. I mean, Condor makes a Kephart for about $40, and then, as I said, I got the one from Ontario for about, I think I got mine for $70 or something like that. But I wanted something that was going to be an heirloom piece, but it's something that's very functional and something that I will get a lot of use out of. And as I've been kind of reading more and more, I like the simplicity of this blade design. I think it'll be very effective for me. And I've seen, I mean, if you're a collector of knives like I am, then at some point in time you're going to have a Kephart style blade, and at some point in time you're going to have a Nessmuck style blade, along with the various other blades that you will come across that just kind of pique your interest. I haven't really come across a Nessmuck that I really wanted to scoop up. There's a couple really nice ones. There's the one that was created or kind of modified by Chris Tanner from Prepared Mind 101, and his looks really nice. But for me, I just haven't had a need for that deep of a belly yet. I don't do a lot of hunting, so skinning game isn't something that I've really been needing to do. So I wanted something that would be very versatile and kind of be able to do everything, but be very light in the hand. And I think this hits all those marks. I'm definitely pleased with it. I'm very grateful to have it. This is a birthday present because I'm turning 40 this year. So when my friend asked me what I wanted, I said, give me something sharp and pointy. Here's a link to something I'm looking at, and I gave them options. My option was between this, the LT Wright Bushcraft HC, and the Genesis. This was the most expensive of the three. The Bushcraft HC is $109 with the sheath, and the Genesis was, I believe, 185 area. He said, hey, this is a big one, go big or go home. So I got the Bark River, and I'm, as always, very happy with it. I look forward to having many years of use out of this knife. I do buy knives to collect, but I do use them as often as I can, and this one will definitely be working its way into the lineup. It's very versatile, very light, very elegant. The one thing I will change about it is most likely the sheath, because as much as this is a great sheath, I just don't know if this is going to be a style that I want. I'm going to wear it around for the next few days and kind of see how that kind of works out for me, and see if it grows on me, or if I still want to kind of change it out for something more like just a traditional pouch sheath, or get something fancier from Scholar Storm. But yeah, that's my initial thoughts and impressions. One last thing I will say is, as far as the thickness of the blade stock, this is my Bark River Ultralight Bushcrafter, which for the longest time was my go-to knife for long backpacking trips, and they are very similar in the thickness of the blade stock. I said this one on the back end is about, I don't know, 0.092. This is, oh, it's actually larger on the back end. It's 0.098. This one's pretty much 0.98 throughout. So it's actually just a tiny bit narrower than my Ultralight Bushcrafter. But it seems very robust. I will say that it does flex a little. That is not a bad thing in my opinion. I think that's definitely great. It comes right back to true form. So I definitely think that this is going to be a great slicer, very good camp knife for preparing food, and then when it has to step up to do more robust tasks, whether it be batoning wood or creating tent stakes or anything like that, I think it'll be more than adequate. So likes and comments are always appreciated. Let me know what else you guys would like to see, and hopefully I'll be talking to you again soon. Thanks.